inshallah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin Ashrafil Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. So today we are continuing our revision on how to do I'rab, and our focus is on af'al. Yeah, af'al. Af'al meaning your verbal actions, yes, your verbal sentences. So what have we covered so far? Yes, in terms of I'rab, the revision that we've done so far, we looked at isms. This is what we covered so far. Yes, and we said that when an ism is mu'rab, it can be mu'rab in two ways. Either you can see it or you can't. Yeah, you can see it or you can't, but it's still mu'rab. Yes, and then we also said there are isms that are mabni. And the difference between mabni and what you can't see can only be established if you know what are your mabnis, yeah, your mabniyats. And this is, we spent a whole lesson on the mabniyats, yeah. But I have summarized here the big ones, the big families. The dama'ir, yes, your asma'ul isharah, yeah, your pointer words, asma'ul mawsulah, yes. And then istifham, your question words, and your conditional words, yes, and other things, yes, which you can look at the previous notes if you can't remember, the smaller ones, the smaller families. Then we went to look at halves. Yes, we went to look at halves, and halves was easy. Everything is mabni, yes, because you always see the half in that form, so it's always mabni. Yeah.
So are you recording?
Yes, I'm recording. Yes, I am recording. Alhamdulillah. Good. Thank you for reminding me, just in case I forget. But yes, I have started recording. So this is for all hurufs. Yes. So now we're going to go into our final category, which is the fi'lun. Yeah, your verbs. So verbs as well, there is mu'rab, and just like the isms, you can see the changes and you can't see the changes. Then you have also, even though it's fi'lun, there are some cases of mabni. And this occurs, of course, you know that things that are mu'rab are usually from the mudhari family. The amar and the past tense is mabni. Yes, so we saw that. So this is madi, amar. And mudhari, only those when we have a nun niswa or a nun tawkid attached to it, then it becomes mabni. Yes, because these two nuns forces it to be just one form. Yeah, one form. Okay, so let's look at our madi. Yeah, your fi'l madi, which is mabni, and see what are the things that we will find. Yeah. So now there are three cases of bana or bina for our fi'l madi. Three cases. Yes. Here we see, this is a chart for a past tense with the different doers. Yes. Or the fa'il. We call doers fa'il. The first category here, nasara, nasarat, nasara, sorry, the fatha is missing, nasarata. What do you think the i'rab is for this?
So these are mabni and al-fath.
Al-fatha, yes, because we have fatha, 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 and fatha, yes. So this is al-fath, we call it, because it's mabni. We don't say fatha, we say al-fath, yeah. So then, the second category, as you see here, is either sukun or dam. Yes, so sukun or dam. So which ones do you think are the sukuns?
So starting from feminine plural until the end is mabni ala sukun.
Yes. Yeah, so these are, first we see the al-fath, yes, and then we saw this with the ta'nis, yeah.
Yes.
And then now we see also the ta'nis, but this time with alif isnain, the duals, yeah. and we go on to the next one, the sukun, which is the next slide. I'll give you the statement of the fa'il for 1 and 2 later, yes, because this one we know that the alif is 9 is actually your fa'il, this one's, yeah. But here, let's see the second case. As you said, the sukuns are all that you see here in blue, yes.
Yes.
These are your sukuns. So here we will say it's mabniun ala as-sukun litisalihi bi damirin raf'in mutaharrik, yes, because it's attached to your various ta, na, and things like that. Alright. Then you have the final category, which is ad-dam, yes, ad-dam, and we only see this for this.
Masculine plural.
Here, for this one, a jama'ah. Yes, this is the only one.
Yes.
Alright, alhamdulillah. Now we go to special cases for Madi. What are these special cases? These one, of course, are the ones with the weak letter endings, yes? For example, on alif. This is sa'a. We have alif maqsura here. Yeah, sa'a Muhammadun ila khair. Muhammad strove for excellence. Yes. Here the fi'l ma'din is mabli ala al-fath. We know this. In ain is quite clear. But the fatha actually strictly speaking is muqaddar. We can't really see it because of the alif. Yeah. So it is prevented from being seen because of the alif. Ta'azzur is impossible or difficult? Impossible. Yeah.
Impossible. Yeah.
Then we have with the ya ending here. Yeah. Al-awladu mashaw, for example. Yes. So the boys walked. This is a form of jumla ismiyah. But when we translate it, it looks like a jumla fi'iliyah. Yeah? But the habar is actually fi'lun madin, mabli ala dam. But because of the, how do you say, the way the ends, it was originally mashaw, like that. Yeah, because the madi is actually on fatha. But because of your jama'ah, yeah, we can't see. Yeah, we cannot see the dam. The dam is not there. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so this fi'lun madin mabniyun ala ad-dam. Yeah, it would have been mashaw, but we can't because of the strong fatha here. So it becomes mashaw, and we say that the ad-dam is mahzuf. Yeah, it is actually ad-dam ala a ya, which has been dropped. Yeah, because of the weak ending. Yeah, it's overtaken by the waw jama'ah, which is the fa'il. Yeah, not because the original one is mim, shin, and ya, but because of the waw jama'ah, we have to drop it, and that would be why, because we are attaching it to the waw jama'ah, and the sound now becomes mashawi. The ya I have actually it's disappeared. But there should be a ya there, but that one has been dropped. Yes, because of the waw jama'ah. Yeah, that's basically. I will try and add it there and highlight it, but I didn't want to confuse things. Yeah, so that's why I didn't write the ya there, but it's understood, it's dropped. Then the weak letter ending wow, yeah, because this is like a repeat. Yeah, so for example, da'aw, you know that when we yadu'u is actually, we know the root letters dal, ain, and waw. Yes. But in this case, because of the waw jama'ah, again, we don't see the original waw. This waw is not the root letter. This waw is the fa'il. Yes, so that's why we still say it is mahzuf. And why? Because it's attached to your fa'il. Yes, so there is a waw here. This waw is appearing blue, but my ya here that's blue is gone. I don't know. So here we have a waw that's light blue. This is what I wanted to do actually. So it's like there but not there, yeah? Because it's all faded. So here again, the same case. Yeah. So alif, ya, and waw. Here totally can't see. Yes, because of the strength of the alif. Here we say that it is mahzuf. Here we say it is mahzuf. Okay. Now we go to the mudari. Mudari is a more elaborate case. Yeah, it's a more elaborate case. Okay. We have marfu. Marfu. In isim, when we look at an isim, marfu means it has a dhamma at the end. Yes. So in mudari, it's not just dhamma at the end. Yeah, there are other ways of looking at marfu as we can see here. Yeah. Now, you're all familiar with this table. Yes, yansuru, yansurani, yansuruna, and as I said before, these are your fa'ils. Yeah, these are your fa'ils, and this is how you see it. Notice this one, anti. Yeah, anti. Yes. Although it is like a single person, but it looks as if it's many people, right? Because of the ya. But this is how it's written. Yeah, this is actually singular, but it's meant for feminine second person. So it's tansurina. Yes, for just one person, tansurina. And the one that's a lot of persons that are female, we say tansurna. Yeah, tansurna. And here for the third person, similar as this, but as you can see, when it is third person, we normally associate the ya in front of this. Yeah. Now all these letters that you see, ya, ta, yeah, nun, hamzah, these are what we call the mudara'ah, huruf mudara'ah. Yes, that's where the name comes in. The presence of this, they are there. Mudari actually doesn't mean present tense. Well, it does mean present tense. What I mean is the meaning of the word mudari'un, da, ra, and ain. Can you remind me towards the end? We will look at the dictionary and we'll see what the root letter stands for. Okay? Can you just remind me before we end the class tonight? Yeah, what the da and ra ain is. Yeah. So when it is marfu, let's just know, yeah, these are your mudara'ah letters, the ones at the beginning. We don't have this for the madi. The madi, as you remember, when we saw the table, yeah, this is the root letter itself. Yeah, so your madi, all of these are your root letters. So it only changes at the ends when it comes to the doers. Only the endings will reflect the doer. But for your mudari, it's both the front end and the back end. Yeah, front and back will also tell you who is the doer. You can't just look at the back. You have to look at the front as well. Yeah, and although I said usually we associate ya with third person, we have this case of ta. Yeah. This is the case of ta. So it's a bit different. You just need to memorize. Yeah, yansuru, yansurani, yansuruna, and then tansuru, tansurani, yansurna. Yeah, and then the strange suddenly tansurina when it's just one person. Yeah, so this is something that you need to be aware of, and that this too, sometimes you can only tell from context whether it's a third person she or a second person he, because they look the same. Tansuru. Yeah, so from context, then only you can tell whether it's male, also whether it's female or male. Yeah, so this is something that you need to remember. Pattern, memorize. Nothing like memorization, because sometimes the sound of it will help you remember. Yeah? How you sing song the whole table will help you remember. So this is the first form, the mudari form. We'll see the Irab later. I just want you to recognize how it looks like. Yeah. So now when we go to what we call mansubun, like with isms, we associate it with fatha. Just like we associate isms with marfu, with dhamma, same thing with the fi'il mudhari. Marfu and majzum for the singular version. Not 100%, but about there, yeah, about there. So in this case, we make it mansub because there is a huruf or harf in front of the fi'il mudhari. So we need to recognize what are these hurufs or harfs that make it mansub. So we know it's an, lan, likai, izan, and hatta. Yeah, an, lan, likai, izan, and hatta. This also can't run away from it. You need to memorize it. Yeah, because when you get to memorize it, then it becomes like a sing-song. An, lan, likai, izan, hatta. Yeah, so likai actually can come in this form. Li, kai, likai. Right? So there are rules to this, which you actually will learn during the Wednesday class, yes, but you are all advanced students. I think you know the differences, yes. Yeah, so now let's see the majzum form. What makes things majzum? Yeah, remember translation, to, will not, so that, in that case, until. Okay, this one when you do translation, but not during our revision sessions. This is just to recap what we should know. Yeah, what we should know, and I put it on the table in the notes, so you can always refer to it if you're not familiar with it yet. But my suggestion is please memorize. Yeah, there's no other way to do it. Yeah, you just need to memorize. Then there's the majzum. Majzum here we don't have for isms. Isms we have majrur, jar, which we don't have for fi'ils. Yes, we only have majzum for fi'il. So this is the way we recognize whether it's a fi'il or an isim. So if you see something that is majrur, you know it's an isim. There's no way it can be a fi'il. When you see something that's majzum, you know automatically it's a fi'il. You cannot be an isim. Yeah, so these are signs how to differentiate between an isim and a fi'il. So here we have yansur, tansur, and you see these ends with sukun. Yeah, but not all the time. Not all the time. Yeah. So what are your hurufs that make it lightest or majzum? So we see here in, lam, lama, and li. Remember likai also has a li. Yeah, so sometimes, like I said, we have to look at the context and the meaning to figure out whether it is majzum or whether it is mansub, because sometimes the half is the same. Yeah, the half is the same. So in, lam, lama, li. If, did not yet, and should. Yeah. So here we have another form of making something majzum. Yeah. Here we drop the ends. Yeah, we drop the ends. But notice, no change. Remember, I said for the mudhari, we have a case of mabni. When do we have a case of mabni? When it is attached to two things, either nun tawkid or nun niswa. So in this case, these are two nun niswa, nun that signify feminine, and this is mabni, regardless of whether it is marfu, mansub, or majzum. So it stays the same. How to tell the difference whether it's majzum or mansub? It's all boils down to what you want to say. Yes, what you want to say. So this is something that we will learn as we go along the way. Yeah, we learn to recognize meaning. Okay, now we go to the signs. Yeah, now we go to the signs. So we said we have three cases of marfu. Three cases of marfu. Ad-Dhammah. Now when we talk about I'rab, Mu'rab, we'll go back to our Dhammah, not Ad-Dhamm anymore. Mabni was Ad-Dhamm, now Mu'rab is Dhammah. there is a dhamma buta. Yeah. So what is the ad-dhamma case? We see a lot of ad-dhamma case here. Everything in pink. Dhamma, 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 dhamma. Yes, so all of these are marfu. When are these marfu? Is for the huwa, hiya, yeah, anta, anna, and nahnu. Okay. Then we have something called subutun nun. This means the presence of nun. All of you are very familiar with this. The presence of nun. So what are the cases? Here, tansurina, one. Yansurani, tansurani, 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 two. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3. This is the same. So it's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and then we have yansuruna 4, tansuruna 5. Why I've counted it that way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because this is what we call af'alu al-hamsa, the 5 special fi'ils, where when it is majzum or mansub, we drop the nun. Yeah, we drop this nun, the heavy nuns. Then we have mabniun ala as-sukun. Oh, what are these? These are, of course, your remainder ones. Yep, these two, the two females. Yansurna, third person feminine plural, second person feminine plurals. These are your plurals. Yeah, yansurna, tansurna. How do you tell? Ya for third person, ta for second person. Yeah, so this will be mabniun ala sukun. There you go. That's your sukun. Yeah, so that's your marfu. Now we go to the mansubun, when you drop things and change things. Why? Because of those letters that we saw before. Remember what makes it mansub? We saw these letters: an, lan, likai, izan, and hatta. Yes, so these will make it mansub. We also know, yes, some grammarians say that hatta didn't make it mansub, but an, that is, this an, that is, can't be seen, mutmarah, yeah? So that's another story, yeah? So, but we just, for this case, we just say hatta is the one that makes it mansub. But mostly, you will see that they say it's actually not hatta. Hatta is half of jar, and an is the one there, but you can't see the an. That's what it's saying, yeah, basically. So that's another story for another day. Let's go back to here, the mansubun. What are the 3 cases of mansub? Here, al-fatha. We see this, very similar to isms. Yeah, so we have the same 5 that we were looking at. And then we have mabni ala sukun, the same 2 that we were looking at. And then the rest, drop nun, drop drop yeah, all this one, we drop the nun. Yeah, okay. Then the final case is, of course, majzum, which is the lightest. And we can only tell the difference for this one. Yeah, we have 3 cases of majzum: as-sukun, here, here, here. All these 5s, and then back again to our friends that who do not change. No one messes around with the women. Yeah, they remain. you can't make them go away. They're there. Now this is one of the reasons why we cannot drop it. Yeah, because this is actually your fa'il, whereas this one, the fa'il is the alif. Yeah, that's why you can drop the nun. And the fa'il is waws, that's why you can drop the nun. The fa'il is ya, that's why you can drop the nun. But you cannot drop the nuns for this, because these are the doers. If you drop them, then you won't know who did the action. Yeah, so that's why it's fixed. It's mabni ala as sukun. Now, then the rest, as I said before, we drop them. Yeah, the 5 cases. What are the 5 cases? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the 5 cases. Now let's go and look at the special case again, like we saw before. For the madin, we have also for the mudari. Yeah, for the mudari. Okay. Can you read the Irab for this, Sister Vinita? Can you read this whole thing?
يمشي الطالب إلى البيت. So يمشي is فعل. يمشي is فعل مضارع مرفوع لأنه لم يسبقه ناصب ولا جازم وعلامته رفعه ضمه مقدره على الياء منامي من ظهورها ثقال.
الثقال. Yeah. So that's a whole mouthful, right? To say when we have to say in full. Yes. Just to note that here we see a classic action, lam, remember, that makes majzoom. That's why it's yasbiq. Yeah, what yasbiqhu. Yeah. That's something that we need to note. And we see here we have maususifa. Yes, we see that. And then we have of course ja with its majroor. This is actually a fi'il. Yeah. Min zuhuriha is still also ja wa majroor and an idafa. Yeah. And we have as-siqalu. Yes, this is actually a form of what sort of jumlah is this? Mana'a min zuhuriha siqalu. This is actually your fa'il.
It's fa'il. Yes.
So this is your fa'il. And this is your fi'il. And this is your muta'alliq. Yeah, min zuhuriha. So what it's basically saying is that this is a fi'il mudari' maf'u'un. Yeah. Why? Because what comes before it is something that makes it nasab. There must be something here before here that made this nasab. I didn't put it here, okay? I did not put it here. Sorry, it didn't. There is nothing there actually. Yes. Sorry, nothing came before it to make it nasab or jazm. Yes, sorry. So lam yasbiqhu, that means nothing came before it that would make it nasab or jazm. So that's why it's marfu'un, because there's nothing there. And its sign, rafi, is ad-dhamma, but this ad-dhamma cannot be seen, muqaddar, and it's cannot be seen ala ya, because of the reason we saw, just like the isim just now. Yes, it's preventing it from being seen because of the ya. So zuhuriha, sikal means heavy, not impossible, heavy. It becomes impossible when there's an alif. Alif always makes things impossible because there's no way you can change an alif. Sometimes when it is mansub, you can still have it. Because you can still have the fatha on top. But when it comes with alif, you put fatha, you put dhamma, or whatever, it's be because it's so strong. That's why. Okay, now let's see the second case when we do have something in front of it. Lan. Okay. Brother Hazim, can you read this one?
فعل مضارع منصوب بلن وعلامة نصبه الفتح الظاهر.
Zahira. Because we can see it. So here there's no muqadda. We can see the ya. We can see the fatha because of this. Alhamdulillah. And it is mansubun because of lan. We saw that. Yes, one of the hurufs that makes it mansub. You usually use lan for any example of mudari. And this is the favorite that grammarians use. Just like we use lam when we want to use it for majzoom. So that's what happens here. Okay. Sister Momina, can you read this one, please? Sister Momina, are you there? Your mic is muted. Maybe she's just listening. Sister Shiraz, can you try reading this then?
لم يمشي لم يمشي الطالب إلى البيت. يمشي فعل مضارع مجزوم وعلامة جزمه حذف حرف العلة. That is الياء.
Yes, alhamdulillah. Yeah. So this is also an idafa, yeah, hazfu harfi, and this is another idafa. Yeah. So this is the dropping of the weak letter, basically. Yeah, the dropping of the weak letter. Okay. So fi'lun mudari'un majzumun, and its sign is the dropping of the nun.
Dropping.
Yeah.
حرف
Okay.
العلة.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. The yadu'u, now we go to the waw. It is the same. Yeah, it's the same, but this time you will say on waw instead. Yeah, on waw instead. Now we go to the alif. Yadda, yeah, yadallahu anil mu'minin. Okay. You read this before, right, Sister Vinita? So maybe, Brother Hazim, can you read this?
فعل مضارع مرفوع لأنه لم يسبقه ناصب ولا جازم وعلامة
This one is
رفعه
extra. It should not be there. Yeah.
وعلامة رفعه الضمة المقدرة على الألف منع من ظهورها التأذر.
التأذر, yeah. So yes, alhamdulillah. So in this case again, because of the alif, yes, you cannot see the dhamma, yeah. And then alhamdulillah, I would like to make you read, because then hopefully we remember better. And then Sister Shiraz, this one.
لن يرضى الله عن الكافرين. يرضى فعل مضارع منصوب وعلامة نصبه الفتحة المقدرة منع ظهورها التعذر.
Okay, alhamdulillah. And here the ta'azzur actually is this is ta'azzur, which is your masdar. This is your isim fa'il muta'azzir, mustahil. It means impossible. Yeah. So this is a noun, the idea, and this is the actual thing, the isim fa'il itself. All right. So this is the case of we don't have. I'm not.
I have
sure
a question, sister.
Yes.
There should be a fatha on ya, right? Rada, yarda, because or
yardaya,
or it will be a standing alif. Yardaya.
It's still. This is mansubun. You mean it should be yardaya?
No, that's what I'm asking. Like, I think so. It's seen on nasab status, right?
The root letter is ra da ya. Yeah. So you're saying that basically it should be like this.
It takes a fatha. Yarda.
So yardaya. But this is not a ya. It is actually an alif. Yes. This is actually an alif. So even though you have a fatha, it's still considered muqaddara. It's not a ya. This is an alif. But my only contention is.
So it will be a standing alif or what?
This is how it's written in the Quran. We don't have a standing alif. It's written as a maqsurah. That's how it's done. But my thing is, I should have a lam here, which is missing. My lam should be there. I will add it, for the majzoom.
No, lam is for majzoom, sister. But yes. This is fine for mansub. Lam is for mansub.
Yes, lam is for mansub. So this is good, but I need to add one for lam. Yeah.
Lam.
So this is something I accidentally left out. Yeah. So yeah, so
Jazakallah.
this
I always had a question.
yes,
pop up.
this is the always the confusing
Alhamdulillah.
thing. This is the confusing thing because of the way it's written.
Yeah.
Yeah. So alhamdulillah.
Ji.
Okay, now we go to the Amr. Let's go to the Amr. So Amr easier. We only have second person because you can only command someone who is in front of you. Yeah, but we also have another type of Amr that doesn't come from your Mudhari. Yes, which we will learn somewhere along the line. I think we've seen this before. When you can command someone that is not there. Yes. That means you can command a person and that person is not there. Yes, so then it doesn't become lighters or anything. It stays as a mudhari, but you have to do a few things to it. Yeah, I think you've seen this before. But what we're looking at is a proper command. This is a proper amar. Yeah, it's not a mudhari that is lighters. Yeah, so this is the proper command. So here we have this one. This is the first one that we're looking at. Yes, here we say it's mabli ala sukun. Yeah, and its fa'il is mustatir, and it's wujuban takdiruhu anta. Yeah, wujuban, not jawazan. Yeah, wujuban, because if you're talking about second person, not the third person. Third person, yes, always jawazan, but when it comes to second person, it will be wujuban. Yeah, because we cannot have an outside doer. Yeah, we cannot have an outside doer. Then we have here the one with nun niswa. Yeah, fi'l amr mabni ala sukun, because it's attached to nun niswa and it's always there. No, I didn't get it. The color code is not right. It's antunna. Yes, so this is mabni ala sukun. Here we have this one. Yes, when we have dropped the nun and we have the waw jama'ah as your fa'il. This is antum. And finally we have this one, fi'l amr, with dropping of the nun again, and it's your ya muhattabah. Yes, and second person, dami mabni ala sukun fi mahali rafa fa'il. Yes, so in this case, because it's this, we have a sukun again. Yeah, because of that. What is missing here is our dual, I think. Here it is. Yeah, this is the one that is left. Yes, the alif is your isnain. This is your domir mabni ala sukun fi mahali rafa fa'il. Yeah, so why again this nun niswah is actually your fa'il. That's why we cannot drop it. Yeah, we cannot drop it. The rest, the nun is there just to show that it's your af'ala hamsah, the special fives. Yes, so there would have been a nun originally here, nun here, nun here, nun here, which we can drop because they are not fa'il. Yeah, so this is fi'il amr. Fi'il amr also has special cases when we have weak letters. So what happens to weak letter in an amr? All of you know. What do we do with the weak letter?
We drop it.
Yes, we drop it.
We drop it.
Yes, good. That's right. Yeah, so in the case of special cases, weak letter ending, what happens is we drop it. Yeah, we don't see it. Here we drop the half ilah. And the fa'il mustatir, yes, in this case, because it's is'a, yeah, anta, wujuban. And emphasis nun attached directly. This is a special case when you want to emphasize. Oh, so ayanna, yeah, fil khair, strive hard for excellence. We want to stress that you should work really hard for this. Ayanna. Here then we say it is attached to nun tawkid. Yeah, mubasharah wal fa'il tami mustati wujuban takdiru anta. What does mubasharah mean? Sister Shiraz? Sorry dear?
Bashara yubashira is to give a good news.
Okay, but in this case it means that it comes how do you say, immediately. Yeah, mubashara. I suppose good news is like that. You know, when good news comes, it comes, you know, in a, you know, it's in like a rush.
All
You
of
can
a
say,
sudden,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So mubashara here is immediately. Yeah, is ayan. Okay. All right. Now, I'm just going to go through this, and then I'm going to call the same things that I've just went through with you, these few slides before this, in a different way. Yeah, in a different way. So what do I mean by this? Just same thing. I'm just putting here that something that you know. You know that a fi'l in Arabic is not just like in English, because in English it's a verb, but actually it's more than a verb. Yeah, it has 3 built-in components. It has the action, it has the tense, yes, and it has the doer. Yes, whereas for English it's just the action. Yeah, it's just the action. And whether past or present tense, maybe we can tell with the S and ED. Yeah, but the fa'il definitely not there, because the fa'il will always be outside with the English. Yeah, so but for the Arabic fi'il, we have all these 3 in. So it's like a complete sentence by itself. Yeah, it's like a complete sentence by itself. That's the difference. We would say Jack ate the apple. Yeah, but for Jack ate, you know, it will be one word where the Arabic is concerned. So that's the special thing about that. Then I just want to go through the different types of pronouns. Yes, the terms for this, because we come across these terms when we do the I'rab. Yeah, so we have the munfasil. This is when it's by itself. These are all munfasils, huwa, huma, hum, not attached to anything. Yes, these are all munfasils by itself. You see them by themselves. Antunna, antuma, anti. Yeah, when it's not attached to anything. So these are munfasil. Fa sad lam means to be separate. Fa sad lam also can mean to be detailed. Yeah, because when you look at detail, you look at bits and pieces, right? So it can be to mean the meaning of separate. It can also mean each and every little bit. So meaning you go into the detail already. Yeah, so sometimes fa sad lam can mean detail. Fa sad lam can mean independent by itself. Yeah. Then we have muttasil, yes, which means attached. Yeah, this comes from the word sila. Yes, and what are all the root letters for this? Sister Shiraz, what are the root letters for this?
Sod lam, yeah.
Sod, lam?
Sod lam, yeah.
Yeah, sod, lam, yeah. Yeah, so this is the ya has actually been dropped. Then we have mustatir. Mustatir, which we cannot see. Yeah, it's hidden. Yeah, so we see the 3 different types, but what you see here is independent and attached. So when it is attached, this is how it will look like. Yeah, in the ka, ki, between male and female. Yeah, and you see that kuma, antuma, the same from male and female, so you can't tell. Yeah, but here, yes, you can. Kunna and hunna, yeah, we can see the difference between female and male, right? This is hum, this is hunna, yeah, and this is kum, and this is kunna. Yeah, so there is a difference between male and female. Only the duals don't seem to have a difference. So you can only tell if you know the context. Okay, now let's look at the files. Remember we were looking at the files just now? Now if we get cut off, please come back in again. Yeah, we have about 9 more slides to go through. Not that much. So let's look at the file again. Yeah, and we said we have domirun mustatirun, and these are attached because they're built in. Of course they're attached. We have the one that is hidden and this one that is attached. Yeah, so we have 2 types, mustatirun or muttasilun. So this is huwa and hiya. You know this, nasara, nasarat. This ta is not a fa'il. I repeat, this is not a fa'il. This is just a sign to say this is feminine. Yeah, some say this ta is also to show that it is feminine and that the fa'il is just the alif. Yeah, but some say no, the whole thing is. So there is some hilaf there, But this is definitely the sign for feminine, yeah, for this one. Okay, so here both are mustatir. Then we have muttasil. The muttasil, we have alif and waw, yeah, these. And we have ta'u fa'il. Now what's these? These are ta'u fa'il. These are actually fa'ils, these stars. You know, that's why I said there is some hilaf here, because we can't have two fa'ils. Yeah, so that's why they say this is a ta'nis, a sign for ta, a sign for feminine, sorry. Then we have nun niswa. Where's nun niswa? Sister Vinita, which is nun niswa?
Sorry, sister?
Which one are nun niswa?
Nasarna.
Yes, one.
And yeah. And Nasar Tunna.
Yeah, just those two. Yes, nun niswa, just those two. I don't know why it didn't come out. There should be a pink thing there. Yeah, then we have nun al-fa'ilin. And where's that? Where's nun al-fa'ilin?
Same, Nun Niswa, right, sister? And Nasarna.
Nasarna is not nun niswa. It can be both feminine or it can also be masculine. Yeah, so
Asking for Fa'ilin, sister, right?
yeah.
For Fa'ilin, yeah?
Yeah, fa'ilin, because we're looking at a group of people. Yeah, that's why it's fa'ilin with this plural. The noon of fi'ilin is not fa'iluna, because we are talking about idafa, so this is jar. Yeah, so that's why it's fa'ilin. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, this nun niswa, this one should also be nun niswa. Yes, I will add the pink thing.
Yeah.
And then I just want to stress again, the ta'nis is not a dua. Yes, it's not a dua. It's just a sign to show that this is feminine. Yeah, this is feminine. So we need to remember this. Yeah, so we have two types of dhamir, one mustatir, one muttasilun. When we talk about the madin, yeah, when we talk about the built-in doers. Okay. Mudhari, slightly different. Remember we said that the word is defined by both ends. Yeah. But when we name it, we actually talk about, let's see how it goes. Yeah. We have mustatir as well. Two types of mustatir. One is jawazan, meaning it will allow permission for an outside doer to come in. Wujuban, anta, ana, nahnu, it stays inside. There's no way you have an outside doer with anta, ana, nahnu. Okay, you only have it with this, huwa and here. Yeah, so these are your mustatirs, and these are your mustatir also, but this is wujuban, this is this is jawazan, and this is wujuban. Okay, Sister Momina, can you speak now? Are you able to speak now? No, still not yet. Okay, never mind. So here are your other doers. Alif isnain, al-waw jama'ah, ya mukhattabah, ya mukhattabah, yeah. So here we go. These are your isnains. This is your waw jama'ah, and then you have ya mukhattabah. Okay, got that? Inshallah. And finally, you have your nun niswa. Yeah, your nun niswa, which is these guys. Yansurna, tansurna. Okay. All right. Now, there is another way, of looking at this. This one is just me summarizing it in a table for you, so you can come back to this and refer to it. We won't go it one by one. Here is also another table. These are all the fa'ils, yes, of the various different words that we saw in the table. Yeah, and then I just want to remind you that this is how we would look at things: the asli and the far'iyah. Yes, these are the asli, the usual things that we see, and this is what happens here. This is one way of calling them. There is another way of calling these alamat. Yeah, what is this way? We see this different perspective. We also have a term called mu'rabat bil harakat. Yeah, and we have something called mu'rab bil huruf. I think you can guess already. Yeah, we can guess this same thing but different way of calling it. Yeah, mu'rabat bil harakat is same, dhamma, fatha, kasra, sukun. Yeah, because we're talking about harakat. And then these are the exceptions. Yeah, when it becomes different. Yeah, because of special cases. You see the nasab is kasra, and we see the jar is fatha, mabnu min nasab. Remember this? Yeah, and of course when it comes to mu'tal, we drop the last letter. Then we have the hurufs, which you see here: waw, alif, ya, nun. Yeah, so this is how we call it. Instead of saying it's far'iyah and asliyah, we now have something called harakat and huruf. But you see, it's a bit of a mix. Yeah, it's a bit of a mix, because here this is actually a far'iyah, if you want to say, because it's the yansab is kasrah, the jar is fatha, so this is gone off. It's far'iyah. Yeah, but another way of grouping this together would be under harakat, all the usual signs that you see, and then when you use hurufs, all the signs that you see with hurufs. Yeah, but it's not identical, not 100% identical to what we saw here. But this is just another way of grammarians making life interesting. They also call it this. Okay, so I just want you to be aware of this. Yeah. Then we have something called lafziyun. Same thing. Yeah, but different ways of looking at it. So your mind should build this ability to go from one term to another and yet know what you're talking about. Yeah, because this is something lafzi, you can almost guess what it is. I'rab harakah mufrad dhamma fatha kasra. Yes, you can see, you can say it. Yeah, we can see and you can say it. Jamak taksir, broken plural, dhamma fatha kasra. Yeah, your broken plural, your kalamun kalamin, yeah, or aklamun aklamin, yeah, these are broken plurals. Yeah, what do we mean by broken plural? The original word of the original isim is no longer in the form of the isim, right? Can you give me an example, Brother Hazim, of a normal plural? Normal plural. Can you give me an example of a normal plural? Brother Hazim? Your mic is muted. No response. Sister Shiraz, what's a normal plural? Not a broken plural.
Yeah, normal, like kafirun, kafiruna.
Right. Yes, kafiruna. Sister Vinita, what's a broken plural?
Kuffar.
Sorry?
Kuffar.
Kufar, yes. It's not kafirun. Same word. Right, Sister Shiraz said kafiruna can be said as a proper normal plural, but we can also say kufar, which is a broken plural of the same thing. Yeah, good examples. Yeah, mu'annas salim, dhamma kasra kasra, ina nasab jar. Yeah, ma'munum nafsaf, dhamma fatha, not dhamma fatha kasra. Yeah, because we don't have kasra for mamnun bin nafsaf. And then here, yeah, this one is if it is not an af'al hamsa, dhamma fatha sukun. If it is one of the 5 fi'ils, then it becomes different. Yeah, you drop the Nun. Okay, now the era of the hurufs. This is Asma'ul Hamsah, yeah, like Zuzazi, yeah, Ahi, Ahu, Ahi, yeah. Those are Waw, Alif, and Ya. Jama' Muzakkar Salim, yes, this is Waw, Ya, Ya, yeah. And then Musanna, this is Alif, Ya, Ya, you all the hurufs, yeah. Af'al Hamsah, then you have Subutu Nun, Hasbu Nun. Yeah, so this is what we call Irab huruf, because we're looking at the Waw, Ya, Alif, yeah, and Nun. And in some places, yeah, we saw this, yeah, your Yas'a, your Yamshi. Some places you see it being dropped, or you know, something like that, yeah. So we go, we say it that way. And here I've listed down again what we call harakah, because we're still looking at the normal fathah, kasrah, and dhamma, yeah. So here isim manqus is all muqaddarah for these two, because manqus ends with a ya, yeah, so we can see the fathah. But ma'sur, it ends with an alif. Everything is muqaddarah, yeah, everything is muqaddarah. Mu'tal in some places, yeah, ba'du place. Mudaf ila ya mutakallim, remember this? Yeah, when you have a ya mutakallim, it's also very strong. So we have muqaddara, muqaddara, muqaddara. Yeah, even with the kasra, you can't see the yam. Even because of the ya mutakallim, you cannot see the kasra, although the sound is there. Yeah, the sound is there, but you cannot see the kasra. Why? Because you have the ya mutakallim, the me, the I. Yeah, my book, kitabi, yeah, something like that. Then huruf jar zaid wa shibhu jumla bi zaidah. We will look at this when we go to our next lesson, inshallah, next week, and we will see how this works. Yes, we will see how this works. This is taqdiri. Just now was lafzi. Yes, we saw lafzi because we can say it. Yeah, here we can say it in a way, but we can't see it, so it's takdir. And then of course we have the mahalli. This is for your mabnis. These are all for your mabnis, yeah. So it's always yaf'alna, even though it's lan or lam, yeah. So this is one case. And here, when you can't see the changes, then you would say things like fi mahalli raf'i, fi mahalli nasbi, ya fi mahalli jasmi, fi mahalli jar. So these are all your mahal, yeah, we know this. And here I've just tabulated what I've been saying all over again, but in this fashion, so that you can see it in one go rather than many slides, yeah, all in one slide. And here we go with your mu'attal, yeah, your mu'attal as well. Same thing that we did just now, but I've just rearranged it in another way, yes, for you to have a look. So any questions here before we leave for today? No questions? Sure now? Gone? Yeah.
Sister, you had asked to mine about Mudari.
Oh yes. Yes, so let me end the slideshow, yeah, and then we shall go to our dictionary. Now, how do I end the slideshow? It's jammed. Oh, maybe I have to stop sharing it first. Let me see what happens if I stop sharing it. Whether I can escape from the slideshow. Why does it do this to me every time? Subhanallah. Okay, I've got it. Hold on, let me share my screen again. We were going to the dictionary, right? So let me share my dictionary. What were the root letters again for Mudhari? Can you hear me? Oh dear.
Yes, sister.
Yeah, we can hear.
Oh,
sister.
okay, good.
Yes, you are
Alhamdulillah.
audible.
So what are the letters, root letters for Mudhari? Dot,
You said God, Ra, Ain.
no, dot, ra, ain. Oh, dara'a. So what does dara'a mean? Yeah. To
Continuous.
humble, to be submissive, and so on and so forth. So, as you can see here, it has the meaning of being alike or similar. Yes? So the question is what is it alike or similar to? And the question is, the answer is, it's alike or similar to the isim. And why do we say that it is alike to the isim? Because for the mudhari, unlike the amar and the madi that we saw just now, the endings can change. Yes, it becomes a mansub or majzum, depending on what half is acting on the fi'il. So in this case, it's mu'rab. And remember we said before that the natural state or the asli state of isim is that it is mu'rab. So here we are saying the mudhari, the fi'il mudhari is also behaving like an isim. Yeah? So that's why we say fi'il mudhari'un. Yes, the fi'il that is similar to the isim in this case. Yes? Okay, alhamdulillah. So that's where we will end for this week. Yes, we will end here for this week. And inshallah, next week we are going to do a bit of talk on majhul, your passive fi'ils. And then we are going to do a bit of tarkib, basic tarkib, so that you know how a sentence is how do you say is partitioned, yeah, how the tarkib is how a sentence is built, yeah, because tarkib basically means to build something, yeah. So inshallah that is something that we'll cover next week, and I hope to cover it within one more session, and inshallah next week will be our last revision in Irab. Yeah. So then subhanallah wa bihamdik nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant nastaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.